Hey there, everybody. It's Nancy Blanchard with Screenbeam, and we're excited to be on here this evening. You are listening to and watching the AV Life.
James King here. You Google me, you'll find me, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
Sup, Joe Way. You're watching and listening to the AV Life.
And I'm your host, Tim Van Woeart, coming at you from New Jersey, and you are watching and listening to the AV Life. All right. Joe, I mean, that was so simple. Like
I did an intro.
I know you did it was great. It was your flair is a little off today, but that's okay.
I'm just trying to be more professional and and just do my part and say my intro, and there you go.
You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to feel how you are. I just want to make sure. And welcome back to James King. I'm glad to have you back 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe I can make it 3.
Yeah, an office and not a soccer field.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is soccer done?
No, soccer's not done, but changes have happened with the schedule. So I no longer do my goalie training on this night. It's now a different night. And then my daughter's practice that was early got moved to later. So that's one of the reasons I got to jump off soon. So I get some time to record here.
Awesome. Well, we are very glad to have you back. And I'm loving the Base Camp t-shirt. That's a classic from Infocom 22.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep. 22.
Yep. That was one of our first in-person recordings that we did. We were all huddled around that little table, and I maxed out my hard drive space on my laptop.
I remember that.
Yeah. It's like it's sitting there processing, and it decided to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm done." It's like no more space, and I'm like, "Oh no." So we had a shortened episode for that. So I will say I am still running on that same MacBook. So it has been very good to me, even after putting it through that. So it's still hanging tight there. And Nancy, glad to have you back after you've been bouncing around here everywhere too.
Yeah, I just remembered tonight. I was like, oh, I'm going to be in the hotel room. So yes, I need to connect.
Very nice. And ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our guest here tonight. Repeating back, and I think she's going to become a regular. Maybe we'll see. I'm not going to hold her to anything, but ladies and gentlemen, Brandy Johnson from PTZOptics is back on the AV Life. How you doing, Brandy?
I am amazing. How are you?
Doing well, thank you very much.
So excited to be here. Thank you for having me back, and I'll be here as many times as you want.
Well, there you go. So I'm sensing maybe a crew member position. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. I'll never turn down. That's the one thing I think Corey and I always agreed on was that, like, all right, let's get people on. Let's always have people. So the more the merrier. And so I will always stand by that tradition. So yeah, folks, we're full in the March at this point. I still don't understand how we got here.
How did it happen?
How? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Calendar in the kitchen. It's like, oh my gosh, it's already March.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been home for 6.5 weeks, so I know how it happened.
That is amazing. You are truly the road warrior there, Brandy.
Yeah.
So we are here in March. We're kind of getting into that spring cleaning kind of piece. My wife and I were talking about like things that we need to get done around the house because finally we are starting to see green grass here in New Jersey. You know, we had all that snow earlier in January, and then everything froze. So the snow stuck around for weeks. It started to melt, and then we got the blizzard of 2026 that came through right after that. And now all that is melting and washing away, and it's feeling good. And we're getting ready for baseball here in New Jersey, so that's where my kind of like James, like my schedule changes again once baseball kicks into gear. Pleased to report that my son did make it to the majors this year, so I'm very proud of him. So yeah, that was
That's exciting.
Been putting in
a travel thing then?
So no, that's actually the like little league level baseball. So like these are the kids that all right. So yeah, no Renee tonight. Sorry, I got distracted.
That's what I was getting ready to message you in the chat.
Yeah. And she just updated Slack too. So,
okay.
so yeah, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Renee will not be joining us here tonight, but for family reasons. So it's always good for that sort of stuff.
You got a haircut.
I did. That actually just happened today. So, well, hang on.
It looked fresh.
Yes, it is fresh. And yeah, I'll for those at home watching the video. So yeah, it was time. I was shaggy, so it was time to go. So yeah, this is the like go to Williamsport play in the Little League World Series like level. Like so
that's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, so he plays for one of the teams as part of our town recreation program, and depending on how they do, and they bring in a few other kids from the town, and then they ship a team off if they do well enough, like regionally, and so we'll see what happens. So but I'm just proud of him because he worked hard, he put in the effort. We did extra clinics, we did extra practices, and it showed, and he got picked by a team, and so he'll spend 2 years there until he ages out. So yeah. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting ready for that, and so it's March. It's also a good time, and this is kind of where we're going to take our discussion here today. And it's a good opportunity as we get towards the end of the higher ed fiscal year, as we do our budgeting and try to get our final pieces out for summer projects. Hopefully you all are getting your bids out there and getting ready to do some work. This is also a good opportunity to take stock in what you've done over the last year, as we're getting too close to our year-end reviews and things like that. Kind of do a self-assessment of yourself and kind of see where you're at, what you've been doing, and taking like an honest look at it too. So yeah, that's kind of where we're going to go tonight, is talking about self-assessment. And I know, like, and I'm going to leave this open to everybody here, since we don't have Murphy for a PM minute, and it kind of this is actually kind of lends itself towards that as well.
Yeah.
So I leave it open to the group, like as far as like opportunities or like things to keep in mind, like when you do your self-assessments, because I know we all can't be great like Joe Way, but we can try.
Right.
Just give yourself 3s all the way across.
Just be average.
There you go.
Average.
Now
I think when giving a self-assessment, you really need to go introspective and like be honest with yourself. Right? Like you really need to take a good look at yourself and be honest. But what if do I really do that? Do I really do that well? Did I?
What if you do, and you feel that you have contributed and you've made a difference, yet management doesn't look at it the same? Like what do you do in that way? I mean, because management isn't always going to be there and see, what you've achieved in that. I mean, you can document it, but how are you able to have them recognize it so they're not giving you a 3, but giving you a little bit more?
Well, I'm going to say that if you're waiting till performance review time to advocate for yourself, you've waited way too late.
Way too late.
You should be advocating for yourself all the time.
Right.
Sending notes about the things that you've been doing, and emails about it, putting it in your company Slack, whatever, and then sending it to yourself. So I even have little tabs. I actually have one on both my team Slack and then my individual that's a by the numbers tab, where every time something goes well or we have a thing, I put it down there as it happens in real time. So the end of the year performance review comes, here's a list of all the great stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can also put the challenges too, and but also put how you overcame them.
Right.
Right. And those are the conversations you can now have and go, and you can hopefully it shows a progress of growth.
Yeah.
of challenges overcame, because those are really the things that your boss cares about.
Right.
And then being able to stand up for yourself and bringing those out at team meetings. So I
Well,
think that's really
yeah.
where to start. But I know a lot of us don't. You get into the busyness of work, and you get into the day to day, and then you don't think about it until you get HR's little email saying you now have 14 days
Right.
to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And I think like for remote workers, it's a little more difficult, right? Like, because like, so like I manage a team of remote workers. So I only see what I see as a leader. And I can coach to what I see. So if you're not putting what you're doing in front of out there, showing me and touting, then how do I know?
Well, here's a good example for you that happened years ago, and I just felt like I got burned. I'm going to say it. I was pissed. So remote worker, hired by somebody else. They had left, so the current was stuck with me. They were micromanaging. Even salespeople had to go in the office. And I had where this consultant liaison, I had where the sales guys would not share anything with me, but I would be open with them. When it came to my performance review, I was told that I was not communicating with the sales guys. And so it was put back on me. I was pissed. Because
I would be.
not the case. And I verbally expressed it, yet I still got docked on my performance.
On top of that, that also says something about, that's piss poor leadership.
It is horrible leadership.
Manager, it's also my job to pull out things I notice from my staff as they're happening in the moment. Maybe not in the moment because it makes them nervous, but at least in our next 1-1, right? And those things, hey, by the way, this happened. Let me help you do this. Or I'm seeing these things. Or I'm in a lot of other 1-1s and I'm hearing things. I can't tell them I'm hearing things from other staff, but I can use that to go, by the way, some great professional growth that might help you out could be to think about things like this as they come up, right? But you're going to be doing, again, it's the same thing. Just
I like that verbiage.
Right?
I'm not soft, so I need to be a softer. Like I need to find better verbiage, and that's something I need to improve upon, and I know that.
I want to agree with Joe there. If by your evaluation, if that's the first time you're hearing any of this, that is bad management, bad leaders. You should have.
But I got dinged for it, unfortunately.
So that's a thing is managing up, and it's very hard to manage up. But it is something sometimes you got to do. You got to advocate for yourself, and then if that's not working, then it may not be the right spot.
Well, and also, on top of that, another thing, and I know this is weird to do like in 1-1s, and it can be awkward, especially when you're just doing downloads of here's how the business is going, etc. But every now and then, at least once a month or once every other month, you can use some of that 1-1 time to go, by the way, are there areas you think I could be improving on?
I do it every single one.
Right. And then
every single one, I ask that.
If they say no, and then it comes annual review and they're like, you've messed up. I'm like going, I asked you every damn week or at least once a month.
I do that every time. And I literally will get it. I ask that every single time. What can I do? What can I do for you? Is there something more I can do for you? You're doing a great job.
I specifically set up a bi-weekly meeting with my boss for that reason. Because in my previous job, I saw my boss every day. He was in the office right next to mine. And he came in the office 5 days a week, just like I did. My new boss, she is remote about half the time. So I don't see her nearly as much. So I don't catch up with her. And then when she is in the office, she's bouncing around the meetings, and she is a workhorse. She's doing wonderful things for the university. But getting that time to sit down and, hey, we need to talk to catch up, just make sure I'm doing what you need. And it took me about 6 months into the new gig to kind of realize that I was not that we were out of sync, but I wasn't having that regular communication that I'm used to. So,
Yeah.
and she was perfectly fine with it. And now, yeah, we have it every other week that, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm doing great. I'm getting like, everything's going well. Like, and she'll tell me like if I got to focus in on other things. So it's a nice dialogue that we have now.
Yeah.
The hard part, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jane. Sorry. The hard part about what you're saying about, always talking about what the challenges are and going on is that they think that that's all you're doing. Because they don't hear what you're saying good. They only hear what you're saying that they need to improve upon.
So what I like about the environment I'm working in is it was, the work procedure before I got there. I love it. And actually a lot of departments are kind of following suit of what we do is our one-on-ones, there's a document shared between manager and employee. So like I have mine with my employees, my boss, I have one, and everything goes on there. Like the expectation is that if you have something to talk about, of course, not the one-on-ones are not the only time we could talk to each other, but we always throw it on the document. Anytime we meet, we throw it right there on the document on the agenda so that both parties, oh, we need to talk about this. Hey, this went well, or here's a challenge. And what's really great about that was I ran into not a bad situation, but where my direct boss retired. And long story short, they're still working on filling the position. So while they're working on filling the position, my direct boss, the CIO, became who I report to directly.
Yeah.
She was able to pull up that document and see everything. It wasn't like I had to rebuild everything.
Right.
She already knew where everything was. And we had open communication. Like early on this year, I went for a rough patch. Really rough patch with my team. I had that conversation with my leadership, with not just my direct boss, even the CIO. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. They knew what was going on. I was like, I need help. How can you help me? And they gave me great coaching advice of how to improve what was going on culture-wise with my team. And we're actually now in a great spot, I feel.
That's amazing. Yeah, there. I know as a leader, there are things that I need to improve upon, and I need to find that balance of, like I know, I tell them great job all the time, but I need to find that a better balance of, I have really high expectations, right? And not everybody works like me, and I know that I don't expect it. I don't expect everybody to work like I do, but I expect them to have, like I expect a lot.
So that's one of my things too.
I bring it down a little. I need to bring it down a little. I need to bring it out.
I'm the same way. Like I have a high expectation, a high, Jill and I think I both kind of believe like we're workaholic, and that's what we choose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's our own personal belief. We like.
And
not
everybody chooses that. Right.
So actually, in that document I have with my employees is we even have a tab because we use Google Docs. There's a tab that actually lists their expectations, so they can refer it to at any given moment. And then it's like, okay, am I putting too much expectation on them? Like we could talk about it. If things aren't getting met, it gets thrown on there. And then what I always try to do is try to reference like, okay, here's a good thing. Here's why it's good and the expectation you met. Or, hey, here's a bad thing. Here's why it's bad and the expectation you didn't meet. So always trying to link them together.
Right.
Another thing I'm trying to do also is I have their goals. So we plan out their goals for the year, and that gets thrown on the document too. And we always try to refer to them. So again, when they come into evaluation time, there should be no surprises.
So
can I just say, I can't stand evaluations. Ever since I worked at Microsoft in Canada in 1992, I can't stand evaluations. I cannot stand them. The current company I'm at, they don't have them. It is so nice to not have to set goals and this and that. Just let me do my job. Honestly.
Yeah.
I was like that first too, because my old job, we had evaluations, but they were not done like we do here. And I'll admit, like, yeah, I came in, I did my job, I was good at my job, but I really didn't have a path. Like, I didn't have those goals. I didn't have
You
that.
need a path.
Yeah. Now that I have to do self eval, I have the path and all that stuff. It actually helps me throughout my year. It's like, am I meeting what I'm actually setting out to? Not just personally, business growth for myself and the school, but also my team. Am I setting them up for success? And it gives you that, guidelines. Of course, you still coming in and doing your job, but it's good reference point. So when you go back and look, hey, look, I did all this the year. Because we always get into the point where it's like, head down, get the work done, get the work done, get the work done. And then you sit back and you're like, man, I just climbed a whole mountain here. And you have that document actually shows you that you climbed the mountain. If you don't always have the document, sometimes you're like, I didn't do anything this year because you're just doing the job you got for the motion.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does one size fit all, just like education, where children fall into, but they all have different learning styles and different outcomes? Does this one style fit in with business? Because we all conduct business in different ways. It all has to do with how our brain is wired, being neurodiverse individuals. So that is my argument.
Well, and that's
what do you mean by that, though? Like, I mean, evaluation in my mind is tailored to each point. Like my when I do evaluation, the questions, the stuff are the same, but it's going to reflect on that employee, the way they learn, the way they do things. And then when I do evaluation with the other employee, the same thing. Yes, the forms are identical, but they're being evaluated identical, but it's based on how they do.
Okay, so over the years, I always had difficulties of coming up with what are the goals, what not to be achieved, because it's me thinking right now, I'm not going to have the proper, but it was just, it was always that challenge. And it was like, well, why can't I just do my job of what the role responsibilities that I was hired for that I'm doing now.
The hard thing is, Nancy, is you can't, like, what you do for one, you have to do for everyone, right? But not everybody does their job at 100%.
Yeah, and that's
to 150. So there's no way to, especially where there's companies with HR and like you've got to treat everybody the same. So there's no way to handle the divergence.
Right. See, that's where you said we have to treat everybody the same, but neurodiverse individuals are not the same.
Yeah,
they aren't.
Where that came about was Jen Steinberg, who worked at Diversified. She worked at Shed for a little bit.
Fellow Jersey.
she shared her journey during COVID of getting tested and what she was going through and stuff. And it really, I mean, she awakened me to, like my boys and even myself of, like, oh, that's what I've done all these years. Oh my gosh. So that's where companies, organizations need to be a little bit more flexible and understanding that not one size fits all.
No, and that one, not one size fits all, because you're probably going to need multiple systems to make that work effectively for everybody. That's an MBA lesson right there that I picked up a couple weeks back.
If you make Joe do an annual review and Tim finds out that if Joe finds out that Tim didn't have to, Joe could go and sue and say, and that's the problem is people are too sensitive and everything. He didn't do it. I shouldn't have to, it's that point, that finger pointing and you treated him different.
Yeah.
Why'd you treat him different? Is it because he has hair and I don't?
Yeah.
Well, that's where
it's 100% it.
I think accommodations is the correct word for this because the same system or the same procedure needs to be in place, but if like, you know, fine for Tom, he's got to do this, but for Tim, like he still does this, but like we're gonna put in this extra thing where Tim has to make sure he writes down every day what he did every day, just so that way he's got the brain dump. Because yeah, I'm that one that I won't remember by the end. Exactly what James was saying. It's like I've climbed the mountain all year long, and I get to the top and I go, "This is a great view. How did I get here?"
Yeah.
It's like.
So
I
AKA,
found this, and I was going to share this with you, Tim. This was so funny. I found this today. I'm like, this is so me. And it's like, I hate it when I'm talking to myself and suddenly realize I wasn't listening and have to start all over.
So my
it's
thing,
like you said, it's the IEP accommodations that my son went through from elementary, middle school, high school, even college. Yeah.
my thing is, I think what we need to evaluate how it's being done. Because the thing is, okay, let's talk about evaluations. That's what we're talking about, self-evaluations here. What's the purpose of those things? Is to see where you need to improve and how you can grow and what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, how you meet the expectation of your job. That is applied to everyone. Now, if we have to sit here and be like, well, you have to do a one-on-one every month and go through that, that's not fair. Because you're right, there are people who do it.
Right.
But if we just take the outcome, this is what the evaluation is, and apply it to how each person learns and develops and communicates, and you still get to the same outcome, you're treating them fairly and equal.
Yeah.
And you're both getting the same outcome. So I think that's really what needs to be looked at, is not be like, well, this is how we do it. Everyone has to go through this procedure. It's more of, here's what the outcome is supposed to be, and then you can choose the path to get there.
And the thing is everybody, like, I mean, I've grown for the past 2 years, like more than I have in my whole career because of the leadership that I have. Right. So there's always opportunities based, depending on who your leaders are and your openness. I don't just, you know, it's not just because of Tom, it's because I was open. And I was taking a look at myself and realizing, you know, I could do that better. And I was great before, but now I'm freaking amazing, right? And I can still be fantastic because I still have more room. There's always room. And that's where that self-assessment comes in, is to sit and take a look at, you know I do this well. I know I'm really good at this, but this I probably could work on a little bit more.
And I had that during I just got done my self-eval not too long ago, and then my evaluation with my boss. And that's one of the things they brought up was, you know, that openness that Brandy just meant was like, when I was going for that rough patch and I went to, I'm like, look, I need help. They brought up is like, hey, that was good. Like we got through that, instead of just like, oh, well, you messed up, now you're in trouble. It was, hey, cool, something didn't go right. Let's figure it out and get it in the right spot.
And then once you do it, then now you're even better, like you're better for it.
Yep.
Right.
I was just looking up because I know that with my middle, oh, that's where they call. So like with our self-assessments, I can't make the change right now.
Ours were horrible. I can't wait to see what they're going to be, because they were like 100 questions. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, ours are short. Well, I will say that's nice.
Like 5 questions.
It's a very short document. The self-assessment's 4 questions, and there's 4 different areas, and I forget what the 2. There's like 4 different levels, and because I can't go in and I can't look at it right now, or I can't like make changes because it's not that time of year. There's like 4 different like levels that you could be on that self-assessment, and it's not like meets expectations or exceeds expectations. It's like needs learning, and then there's like skilled, and then there's role model. Like role model is the top level, and it's in professional. So the professional sub pieces, which is like agility, professional acumen, alignment, and team building. So like those are the things that like they're self-assessing you on at the university. So yeah, there's some things that maybe are quantitative, but most of them are kind of qualitative. So
Yeah.
I had to make sure I had to think about that to make sure I used the words in the
Right words.
right words.
All right.
So
I got to
Well,
bounce all. Have
all
a good
right,
one.
thank you so
Bye,
much,
James.
James.
Good
Have
to
a great
see
night,
you.
sir.
Bye.
Take care.
So let's talk about ratings. Like how do you how she's got me.
Uh-oh.
How do you like see it when it comes to ratings? Like I have always been taught like unless like you don't get an exceeds unless you like really exceed, you know,
Mhm.
because there's always room to grow, right? Like you know, like maybe like a between a meets and exceeds unless you're like really good, you know.
Yeah, that's what I think for
Is
3 out
that
of the
why they
yeah, and I think you always need to have see, it's funny because like I could make an argument either way, but I think having an even number of options is better than an odd number because that stops somebody from picking 3. You know, and like that's
yeah.
like we were just talking about. It's like
Yeah, picking three.
it forces you to go, okay, yeah, maybe I do need a little bit more work than I think of, or it's like, okay, yeah, I am doing
Right.
pretty good in that. It kind of
I
it
know.
skews
Yeah.
the arrow at least one way or the other.
Yeah. There needs to be like, yeah, there needs to be a middle, you know, like an in between a meets and an exceeds.
It's like, yeah,
Needs
like
to be-
where I'm doing, you know, I'm exceeding, but not like I'm just doing
Right.
slightly better.
You know, because like I mean, like God, everybody I have on my team does good, you know, really good work, right? But you know, there's something we all could. I don't ever expect to get an exceeds.
Mm.
I've never expected to get an exceeds, you know, like because I know that I got room and there's things I could do better, like be organized.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, so I see it different ways. Like
You see it
obviously
different
there's
ways?
people who go over and above and that they're
Yeah.
consistent and you do your work and you show up. It's like, but that's also what you're paid to do. So I see it different ways. Like I used to have my salespeople, like when I owned my business and they get sales, I go, I close this, and like, congratulations for doing your job.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Right.
like that's literally what I pay you for. And so
Right.
you know, but on the flip side, you know what? Good, reliable people are also sometimes hard to
They
come
are.
by.
True.
So I think there's spaces where you can do, you know, a 3.5 rather than a 3, right? And not
Right.
necessarily always because there's
Right.
places where you also want to honor that, hey, you're not
100%.
just getting by.
Yeah. Like I will give an exceeds, right? Like on an area that they exceeds in, but their overall will not be exceeds. It'll be a 3.5, you know, or a 3.7 or a 3.3, right? Like it depending on where they fall. But their overall is not going to be like an exceeds because they're not, you know, unless they exceed in every aspect. Of
Well,
their
you know,
job.
it's funny too, because when I do mine and I do my self eval where I send it to my boss and I'll list like, you know, because all the thing is list your accomplishments, list your, you know, areas of work, whatever. So I'll list all these things. I won this award, did this, my team did this, blah, 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 blah. And and then I'll give my own score of like, yeah, I'm a 3.2. And like, what? And I'm like, wait, but you like
Did all these things.
hey, you
Yeah.
did this. I'm like, yeah, but that's what I expect of myself.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly
I'm just
how I am.
average to my own expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like I mean, I gave myself like a role model in one of them, and it was team building because I feel like I do
You are, yeah.
I do that really well. Like I work well with others. Like that is what I
Yeah.
do. And like I'm, you know, but like all the other ones, it's like, yeah, I could do better in that. Like I feel like if I needed to go take somebody aside and show them how to like work with other groups and do that sort of stuff, I can do that. That's the definition of a role model. Like it could almost be, you could say teacher in that
Mhm.
same, you know, respect. So I could teach somebody and guide them to do that.
Yeah.
But
I've never completed my self-assessment here.
Mm.
Like the first one I did, like I did it 3 times and I pulled away from a call and it didn't save. And it's got like, like so many questions. And it took me like an hour to get to where I was. And by the 3rd time, like, I can't, I'm done. You know what I'm doing.
See, and that's
do this again.
That's time to reevaluate the system. Like if somebody
and we are
Okay.
100%. We
So
are
there you
doing
go.
it. How about autosave? Oh, no.
That'd be a nice start.
Wouldn't that'd be a really good start.
Yeah, or at least have it save, like break it into like 20 sections or something like that,
Yeah.
where like when you click next, it auto saves. Like it's.
I was so annoyed.
So, oh man, so yeah, that's really cool. I mean, I think that was a great conversation we got going here.
I know, it was really good because we all have different perspectives, which is great.
Right. Well, it's funny now too because we've got 2 that are in higher. Well, actually, we had 3 that were in higher ed and 2 that are in corporate manufacturer. Yeah. So like, there's 2 different perspectives on this.
100%.
You know,
That's
like
really
we're
good.
and like for like Joe and I, like it's not like we're trying to. It's like, okay, we've admitted 10,000 students. Is like, well, we're not. That's not our responsibility.
That's right.
So we can't quantitate. We can't quantitative like that. But we could say like, we did X amount of classrooms for X amount of dollars, and so like there's certain things we could do about that. But yeah, I think a lot of ours are more of the ethereal, like, yeah, we completed X amount of tickets, in this amount of time, but that faculty satisfaction went up 10 points this year, so there's ways of making it into numbers, but
yeah. See, so we are on a team goal. So like our numbers don't come out individually. So like there's no way to for it to be quantitative by
quantitative. Yeah.
By an actual number, because we don't get reports based off of territories. So everybody is on a team goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's in a way that's nice, because then you're working as a team to accomplish that goal, and
everybody works together. So if some,
right.
So it is really nice because everybody does work together and help, pitch in and help everybody out. It's not, that's his,
until you get that one person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
but there's no pointy thing. Yeah. There's no pointing, finger pointing game.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, good luck. I'm going to tell everyone good luck with your self-assessments then. Hope this helped a little bit.
I didn't get one. So I should have gotten one for my January 15th and done an annual review, and I didn't get one. And I think it's because of the ESOP, because we were in the middle of all that. So I'm wondering if they're going to just start having it like fiscal, like as opposed to on our anniversary date like we used to. Yeah. Because like everything's like we're having to redo everything with being an ESOP now.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for that input. That was great. Yeah. Well, no, we're not quite. I
was like, are we done?
Yet.
Like, this is 9:30.
We haven't done the firing range yet.
I know. I'm like, we're missing something.
But I will leave it open to general comments as to like what's going on out there in the world for y'all. So
I think I want to know what is the feedback on the discussion of shortage of chips, of memory, everything else. So what are you hearing from manufacturers, or are they saying anything?
I mean, the general consensus is, at least from what I hear, is that there's going to be a price increase.
So are we going through a COVID era again?
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have a shortage. I mean, Joe, maybe I'm hearing that wrong, but it just sounds like there could be an increase in prices. But I don't even know if that's 100% assured.
We just talked about that, and we will not be raising prices.
I don't know. I will say that it's a nothing burger.
Okay.
I mean, I know that I've heard it and I've seen it, and I'll agree. There's going to be a price increase because that's just it. But I also think demand will, like, this is just a basic supply and demand. It's not a COVID thing. COVID thing, people couldn't
No,
show up
what
to
I'm
a
saying
factory and
is,
make stuff.
yeah,
Right.
I'm just saying is that, you know, during COVID, all of a sudden there wasn't supply, and then all of a sudden, so it's sort of like
Right.
that thing of, oh, well, now we're short of chips and we're short of memory and this, and how's it all going to play out? So,
No, I think I would the fact is there isn't a shortage. People just need to pay more. They just don't want to pay more right now. See,
Right.
so it's not that they can't make more. I think what's going to happen is likely some regulations. Like if you see recently, you know, the current administration announced that chip manufacturers can now, you know, have to now pay for their own power and stuff for this stuff. So I think that or the AI companies. I mean, so AI companies who are using all of the memory, using the chips, doing all that stuff, now have to pay for it or can create their own power to do it. So I think you're going to start seeing more regulations and or other ways to pass that added crunch onto the companies that are causing the issues. Right?
That'd be great.
Which might mean that your ChatGPT subscription goes up or something along those lines, right? Or your Gemini subscription goes up. But
Don't mess with my chatty.
Going to happen, right? But I definitely don't see it as a COVID thing, and I don't see I haven't heard our peers freaking out at all. It's just, it is what it is.
okay.
Yeah. I was just saying, I think we also, like, there weren't any major increases this last year that we've come to expect over the years anyhow. So I think this year is more mild just in general. So I think, there's no complaints here. So.
Hey, when you have no money to spend anyway, what does it matter? What difference
Exactly.
does it
Yeah.
And I've heard that with California is that some of the budgets have been cut. But then I heard that about Arizona. I mean, it's all over. I heard that about Arizona too, is that their budgets got cut. But there was one in Arizona, and it was a bomb that, because in that area there's a lot of older people, and because they don't have kids going to school, they don't feel that they should have to pay, so they didn't vote, and the bond didn't go through.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
So there are budgets being cut like across the country for higher ed. So it's just kind of where we are at right now. We had a whole discussion about this a couple weeks back, and that, you know, we may see some more mergers and streamlining of university systems and stuff like that over the course of the next, 5 years or so.
What do you mean by that?
So I will say, like, here in New Jersey, in the last 2 years, we've had 2 different universities merge with other universities, where they were both financially, I don't want to say dire straits, but they were struggling financially, and bigger universities that
Get more funding.
They could get some more funding. Like, one of them was a small private college that had been catering to students who were of lower income families.
Okay.
So there was a lot of scholarship money, a lot of, FAFSA planning, things like that they were operating on, and not so much actual tuition gaining,
Right.
and also not as much fundraising that they were. So
Okay.
they were doing great work. It just unfortunately financially it just was not becoming stable. So they were added into a larger state university that was in a neighboring town. And then just this year, now I have my own opinions on what happened at that university, but they were about $70 million. I think they were like $70 million. I have 7 on the head, and I don't think 7 million, but I think $70 million in debt. And so between the state and their leadership, and then the other university that absorbed them, they got that all squared away and settled. So at least we didn't have to shutter any universities, but they became part of a larger system.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So yeah, so I think we're going to see more of that happening as time goes by, and unfortunately, we discussed in the episode, I think private universities are going to be the first that are gonna fall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Interesting. Okay.
So,
thanks. You're right. Joe is just like, he's just got his video.
I'm just like,
nothing else.
Who is he?
You're just making an appearance, and that's it.
Like, we literally are in a different realm in the multiverse.
What? I've given input.
No, you did great today, Joe. You really did. Yeah.
You're quiet.
I've been a crew member for about 6 episodes in a row now.
Oh, do we need to
Maybe
put you
I'm
in it?
settling down.
Are you rotate him out?
Yeah, I gotta shoot him over to a guest mode at some point and let him stew over on that side. We'll figure out how to do that.
He's just tired. He's just like, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I will say, so we could wrap up with Infocom talk, because it is that time of year now that registration is open. So you can make sure you could head over to register for Infocom, and don't forget to use code HETMA for your free pass.
And discounted education.
And discounted education.
Yeah, I got to think about that, because I'm telling you right now with Southwest, I've been on the road every week.
Mm-hmm.
Southwest is killing me with airfare. And I'm talking 2 to 3 times the amount that I ordinarily would from San Jose to Phoenix. I canceled Denver. I have my local guy now doing it because it was going to be $895.
Ooh.
To fly from San Jose to Denver.
That's wild.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I
don't fly them anymore.
But they're actually cheaper than, for me, Alaska or Delta or anybody else. But still, and then consider, now you have to add on the luggage, because your luggage is no longer included. So I'm just thoroughly disgusted. It drives me nuts.
Well, you could fly Alaska, because they're strong supporters of the U.S. women's hockey team. So
no, they're more expensive. That's the problem. For me in California, they are.
I just booked a great flight to Maui.
You're in LA, Joe. Dude, you're in LA. I'm in San Jose.
I mean, I flew out of San Jose to go to Southern California. It was like $200 on Delta.
Yeah.
$200.
Mine was $500 Southwest. So maybe you did yours a long time ago.
Like I said, I fly Delta, and I do get I usually book at least a month in advance.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I know if you don't book in a month in advance, you're screwed.
Yeah, I got thrown dates of Elmo, W, you name it, and that's what's driving me nuts, because I hate wasting money. I'm all about finding the great deals, and that's why I said to my team, I'm not flying to Denver next week. Use the local guy, because $895, no way. That is just pathetic.
I was just looking to see what the flight from Newark to Vegas is, and right now it's at about $400 round trip, so that's not too bad.
That's good for you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, that's basic economy too. So I don't
add on your luggage and everything else. Yeah.
I don't love basic economy for that flight out and back, because TPOAV. So tall people of AV. And I was the opposite is the SPOAV, the short people of AV.
Short people. I'm one of those.
Yeah.
So I would prefer like an economy plus, but that's like $800 to do that. So why they double the price?
Who are you playing with?
I usually go United. So yeah. So, but that was just a quick.
Double?
It's almost double. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah,
That's why I stopped. That's why I stopped. Not that I stopped flying United, but it's also like, why am I going to pay, so I can get the
Yeah.
extra 6 inches I need? Like, it's like,
No, Delta usually like between Maine and like Maine and comfort, like it's like usually like 100 or 150.
see, and that makes sense to me.
Difference.
Like doubling the price for that is not okay.
And you select an exit row.
Well, they consider those to be the economy plus seats.
Really?
Well,
Yep.
go Southwest.
Yep.
Compare
Fly
to
Delta.
So they've well, and actually also it's funny because if I do basic economy, I also don't get to choose my seat. So
No, fly
So-
Delta, click Maine, and then choose a.
But are you or are you not coming out for the awards?
to be determined still. So I'm sorry,
I
Joe.
am. I'll be there, Joe.
Hand over to somebody.
I'm gonna know. I'll know soon. I will know soon.
I will be there because
I need to make sure we're not getting any more snow.
Yeah.
In June?
Well, no. So we've discussed this on other episodes too. But my son is graduating this year and moving into the middle school next year. His like graduation exercises and that sort of stuff is happening it's happening that same week. And the last day of school is going to be the Friday, the 18th, I think. So if I could even manage to get out there to leave myself buffer room to make sure I'm here for everything, it would literally only be for the Higher Ed AV Awards. I'll come early to be there for day one of the HETMA Education Summit. So don't forget that you can also register for that while you're registering for Infocom. You could get 12 CTS credits. So for your time there. So if you need your continuing education credits for that, you can sign up for that. So I would come out, spend the day on Monday, hopefully get some sleep, hop on a flight on Tuesday, and then shoot back to New Jersey. So that would be the only thing that may happen. So, and I'm not even promising that.
Let me
jamming road to Infocom.
Well, that is why I'm looking into next year. And this is something going back to an old episode that we had discussed quite a few years ago for Infocom, the October Infocom of COVID 2021, where we talked about doing a road trip and getting a sponsor to get in like an RV or something like that and rock out down. And, so I got,
let's do it.
Maybe next year. Yeah. Maybe for 2025 for 2027 Infocom, we'll cruise down 95 all the way to Orlando. Uh-huh.
So let me do a quick thing. So 2016, when I got back in the industry, my son was graduating from 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I flew back to San Jose to attend his graduation and flew back to Vegas, arrived at midnight, and I did everything to fight not falling asleep on that flight because I thought it would be easy, of which I discovered, no, it's not. It drains you.
Yes.
And then I got back at midnight and all I wanted to do was go back to my hotel room. So I found a guy that worked there internally. It was the SLS. It was this weird boutique hotel that Harmon had, and it had mirrors on the ceiling in your bedroom. And so
did they charge by the hour?
Oh my God.
Did the bed vibrate?
No, but it lit up. It was fantastic. And it turned a knob and it would light up. And anyways, because I'm just so tired. So I found a guy, he had a plaid vest on, and I'm like, how do I where the frig are the elevators? And he's like, well, can I see your ID? So then he takes me there. I get a text from my integrators. They're sitting at the bar and they're like, hey, Nancy, we weren't quite sure if you were with that guy. If you're free and you want to come down for drinks. I'm like, are you telling me you think that I'm going to be with a guy with a plaid vest? He's like, are you serious? And I was just like, I was just at a graduation ceremony. I need to get sleep because I have to be up on the booth the next morning early. So it was like, I'm not going anywhere. But when you think things are simple, of simply flying back for an hour and then attending and then flying back, no, it's not. It actually can be very draining. So that's all I can say.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I had done I did the red eye from Vegas 2 years ago, and that was not fun like that because I had to be back for Saturday. So, and I was with my father too because he had been spending time with my my sister out in Utah. So we met up in Vegas. We did dinner with as a family, all of us, and then I got on the plane with him, and we did the red eye back, and oh, I was
I did a red
shot.
eye last night from LAX.
Yeah, so I understand, and I couldn't
Yeah.
sleep on the plane either. So,
Yeah, I couldn't.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. The things we do as road warriors. We have the scars, right? We have the scars.
We do. Sadly, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I'm not working out.
I think you deserve a day off.
And I took today off.
There you go.
Good.
Tomorrow's going to get taken off too.
All right. Well, now is the time. We will start to wrap up here. So, thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you so much for joining us here
Thank
today.
you.
Always a
Yeah.
pleasure having you on. Nancy and Joe, thank
Yeah.
you as always. This was an amazing conversation. I hope our listeners got something out of it here tonight. Yeah, check back at us with us next week. And always, follow us on all the socials and, like and subscribe on YouTube so you get to see all the fun stuff that we're doing. And as always,
Yeah.
till our next adventure.
Bye, guys.